Do you not run brakes 4 in quali overtaker?
I do for the couple of races now, and I don't know if I gain a lot. Maybe.
I've never done that.
I don't think
know.
you gain massive amounts, but yeah.
Yeah, they are better, but I think my car is less stable on the braking, so it's harder for me to put
Fucking hell, Tibbs, you
a good lap
fucking prick.
on force. I don't know. Maybe it's just a pet thing. But yeah, until you then haven't told me I was running one.
And then he never believed me.
Yeah, I've always run 4.
And then I told James about it at work, and then he was like, "Don't believe you." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking look at this." And then I sent him the Coach Dave thing, and it told him, "Why am I doing that? I want to go to fucking view channel. That's what I want."
Fucking Tibbs, the dickhead.
Matt, did you schedule the stream?
No, I'll do it in a second. Bear with me. I've been practicing around with this bullshit because I've been out Christmas shopping all day.
Wow. I thought you loved Christmas. Let's go out fucking Christmas shopping.
Oh, no, it's so expensive now, honest to God.
Fucking love Christmas. You gotta love everything about Christmas, Matt.
I do.
Even the spending the money.
That's the main part, isn't it?
Yeah, spending money. That's what is Christmas is about. It's not about celebrating Jesus. It's not about celebrating fucking Santa. It's basically for every business to just bend you over, spank you in the ass, and take all your money.
Deal with it.
Bingo!
Like Design Manchester I've done. Fucking shocking. Bet me over and spank me. Show me the money!
Fucking right.
Mike, what gear are you in the Snake for?
Third, and then I dropped to second for the
Stay
final
third.
bit.
Stay third.
I can't. It bogs down too much, man.
Don't matter.
There's nothing in it.
I'm the same as Mike.
Oh, too much.
Yeah, don't touch that curb.
I'd love a setup that's really quick.
It's 130 Ardan that fucks me up, man. I lose it so many times.
Come on.
Well, Matt, you best get one then, shouldn't you?
I'm just fucking slow around here.
Do you know the problem is, Matt? It doesn't matter if you have the setup. You've never been good at this track, and you've never been good at Sakito, so...
No, but
grin and bear it.
I'm woefully off the pace. Oh, I will grin and bear it. I'm just woefully off the pace.
Is that it, Overtaker? Fucking hell. I did a 2 flat.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I did. I did a 2. No, I did a 2 at 0.8. That's what I did in qualifying. I took pole. Just.
Congrats to get a pole with DJ Phil.
Thanks, man.
You're
Thanks, man.
rival.
Thanks, man. I just didn't want to come in and humiliate you guys in the Aston, that's all.
I saw how you drive that Aston and it's not fucking great, let me tell you.
It's a front engine car, I hate it. I hate front engine cars, they're horrible. Too much understeer. And then you try and counteract it with oversteer and then they're just wank then. There's only been one good front engine car and it's not even in this version. Oh, Mike!
Oh, caught too much in the curve then.
Don't touch that one, Jesus. You're brave touching it.
You reckon stay in third here?
Yep.
I dropped to second. I'm back in third by here.
No, you can drop in second, but if you're looking for turn in.
There we go, Ripper!
What's done?
Too much curb.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 minute .153 overtaker.
I mean, Mike, don't touch that curb at all. If you can avoid touching it, that's what I learnt.
I'm quite quick. This can ride it. I just took a bit too much then.
It's not that curb that's the problem. It's the exit curb.
The exit curve it doesn't affect me. I can
Did the
ride
last
the
lap?
exit curve. No, it was the in. The first curve, Degner 1. That I caught. I took too much of that.
Can anybody test the pit in? Because I was extremely quick in and I didn't get a penalty. And I don't know if that's the track or it glitched on me. Because I was going like 100 kilometers per hour in and it didn't give me the penalty. I tested it now.
So you basically want someone steaming into the pits.
Yeah, if you'd like to get some advantage maybe in the race, you can try it now.
But it won't do it in practice.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
It won't do it in practice. You only get the penalty in the race, you twat. Yeah, you actually ignore everything I said just then. Just fucking ignore it and just go flat out.
Yeah, you
said
test it in race one.
You shouldn't have said out, and then when he gets a penalty, he's like, I've done it all practice, it didn't fucking matter. No, it didn't.
Yeah, I need to do something.
You're fucking welcome, Overtaker. When you win tonight, you know, just remember me, because I saved your ass.
Yeah, when Ripper comes steaming in.
Yeah, that fucker is fast.
Hello.
Matt, where's this stream?
Oh, give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to work on my driving.
You said 2 seconds
It's
fucking 2 minutes
coming,
ago.
Bitch.
Fuck me, I might as well do it, you fucking helmet.
Well, seeing as you've just fucking offered,
I didn't fucking offer, I said I might as well do it.
that's an offer.
No, it's not a fucking offer. You didn't even put the thumbnail on the last one, you fucking helmet.
Yeah, no, my Streamlabs glitched and didn't select. You know when you press go live
Fucking
and
can't get the
drop-down
fucking staff these days, Jesus.
thing? I had a problem with my Streamlabs. I'm going to reinstall it and install it again over the weekend.
I've got a problem
For
with
most of
you.
a week it's been doing funny shit.
I've got a problem with you.
Well, I've got a problem with your face, but you know, I don't do anything about it. I'll leave it. Oh, God.
There's nothing you can do about it. He's gonna get pissy before the end of the day, and it's gonna be funny as fuck.
I need a wee.
Cause he's wank. Right, everybody enjoy the sound of Matt being pissed off, because it's gonna be here all night long. I love being an ass.
We know.
No.
Hey, he's got a lap time on the board. Stay. Oh, Mike, you never learn.
Nope. Too deep there now.
And now you've just thrown the entire thing off now.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot. Oh shit, I don't want to share my stream. Error. No, I don't want, no. Okay,
Dan, why are you
channel.
being the cunt in the Discord?
Why am I being a cunt in the Discord?
Yeah,
why are you
just-
two being a cocky fuckers?
No, I'm not a cocky, I just thought it would be a good to have a left time. I was talking to
How
Mike
am I
and he
being a
said,
cunt, by the way?
well,
By saying
Well,
how
you
about let's see it in the
started it.
race?
yeah, I mean just...
Let's
it
see it
would
in the
be
race
okay
then. I ain't
we
being a
just-
dick, I'm just saying let's see it in the race. I look
Mate,
forward to
you
seeing it in the
know,
race.
There's no way I'm gonna do a lap
It's banter.
in the hot stint on the race when there's no tire wear.
Let's see it in qualifying. I want to see a 59 in qualifying. From the
59
pair
you
of you.
can-
From the pair of you.
You'll get it.
Right, then
But
that's all I'm asking.
55,
I wasn't being
no
a
way.
cunt. I was just a 55.5. I want to see a 59
59.
from the
We'll
pair
get
of
it
you.
now.
Right now. I want it now. Or you know what? I'm going to even watch you.
Watch me.
No pressure. You missed the apex there, mate. Or a bit wide there, mate. Or a bit of a twitch there, mate.
Shut the fuck up, mate.
It's annoying, isn't it? Oh,
Tony.
oh, 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 oh,
Yeah, that's Tony.
oh, oh.
That's my style. Drifting.
Oh.
Oh, that was nice. Look at the delta, go green.
I can't see that bit. All I see is your really ugly looking Bentley. Why is this so shit? Why is it 4 ATP? I want it at 10 ATP. There we fucking go. Beautiful. Now we can look at disgusting Ripper's fucking... Ripper? Not Ripper. We wish it was quick as Ripper.
Oh, you're so funny! Look at flat.
Yeah, but it's invalidated.
No. Okay, maybe it is.
Yes, Ripper, I am very impressed. You took 130R flat. I did that multiple times. But it was invalidated every time I did it.
This is the flyer. My second one.
You said this one. You're funny, Ripper. I mean, when you got a car that's that long and that wide, you know, it looks pretty stable, to be fair. See, Mike takes a lot more curb than that and completely loses it. Oh, he is concentrating. He is concentrating. Oh, rear end a bit twitchy on entrance there. I feel like in a minute he's going to fly to the UK and kick my head in. I mean, to be fair, he was spamming loads of chat in my Twitch account, so fair's fair. Oh, you short shift out of spoon. Fair. Alright then, flat 130R, let's see it. Ah, pussy. Evening all, it's
I
pro
don't
time.
know what. I'm so far off the pace. That was a perfect lap. Oh. Because I'm on 50 liters.
I'll tell you
Why
what.
am I on 50 liters?
Also, Saturday to Sunday changes dramatically.
Yeah? It does?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
faster.
Sunday is much faster. By a mile. Like, I was doing 204s, as you saw, in practice. I was wank. And then, in qualifying for the Sunday, I did a 2 flat. So, Sunday is much faster than Saturday.
Yeah, maybe the track is not optimum yet.
It's optimum. It says optimum, but I think
Yeah,
because...
different
because-
levels of optimum, maybe.
Possibly. But even with you guys running it, and I guess maybe that one minute of qualifying that you guys don't run, you know, may affect it a little bit, I guess, because you got a whole 20 minutes of practice, then you got the 15-minute qualifying, and then you got the race. Anyway, I need to go and do a dish a minute. Be right back.
Well,
Actually, no, I won't be back. I'll be going in a comms box. So good luck all, and I will catch you all later.
Yeah, I'll see you later, pal.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
See you on the podium.
Yeah, alright. We'll see.
then, before we go, what was the temperature in the qualifying?
Well, mine?
No, the track temperature.
Well, right now?
No, when you had qualifying, do you remember?
Oh, the track was 19 degrees.
In qualifying?
Yes. Yeah, practice. Yeah, it was around 19, 18 degrees, which is what it is now. But I don't know what it is. Saturday just seems slower than Sunday. Don't know what it is. It's just is. It's weird.
more rubbered in though, isn't it? Even if it's both optimum, it's still more rubbered in on the Sunday.
Yeah, and you've got 13 cars, so I expect the 159 from all of you.
Yeah, alright.
Especially you, Mike.
Yeah, alright.
I'm going to go on board and do a lap with you.
Brilliant.
Alright, see you later. Best of luck.
See you later, bud.
See you later.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and we are live here in the land of the rising sun. We are here in Japan, in Suzuka, for the 15th and 16th round of the Simplay Motorsport Pro season. And what an iconic circuit we come to here. And like I said, we're in Suzuka for the next round of the championship, and what a circuit we have in front of us. A very, very tricky, so old school circuit as well, and one of the only few circuits that go in a figure of 8. Some very iconic corners here, with 130R being probably the most famous. We've also got the Snake, we've got Turn 1, we've also got Spoon, and we've also got the final chicane. All iconic corners, and Degna 1 and Degna 2. And we're currently on board with Tibbs right now in Honda, the home of Honda. Is the Japanese circuit, Japanese car, and we've got 3 Japanese racing Hondas here tonight. As Gary131 gets himself into the server, I'm just going to get myself the everything that I need for tonight's race. As you see there, a very tricky corner. Sorry, any better through there? He seems a lot more stable through that sector. So like I said, Suzuka International Racing Course, set in Japan, and a capacity of 155,000 people. Is a FIA grade 1, and the track length is 3.6 miles long, and the kilometers is 5.8. And it's home of Honda, and it's designed by the Honda Test Track as well. And 18 corners separate this circuit. There's been iconic moments here in Formula One. There's been massive accidents in Formula One, and it's still one of the iconic and fantastic circuits that we still see today. Very old school. The runoffs ain't very long, and it's very easy to make a mistake around here. So tonight is going to be the GT3's format. So we head into this practice session. They've still got 15 minutes left of this practice session, and then they will be heading into a 1-minute qualifying session, as we don't want them to qualify, because we'll be then going into a reverse championship order. That then race will be 20 minutes long, the reverse grid. So the championship leader will be Ripper. He'll be starting at the back and want to work his way to the front. And we'll see how he'll get on with the rest of the guys in the top end against the guys holding on for as long as they can for 20 minutes. The pit window will open straight away, so they have the entire 20 minutes to decide when they want to pit. And obviously they will have to change tyres as well. Once we get into that, they will have a 20-minute practice session, which is more of a break and a chance for myself and the team to just get themselves prepared and ready for the feature race. We should then go into a 15-minute qualifying session. Once we then go into the 15-minute qualifying session, there is a chance of a point for pole position, and two drivers are both aiming to try and get that extra point. They're both looking very fast around this circuit. But a lot of these guys are really testing the limits around here on this Suzuka circuit. Once they then finish qualifying session, they will then head into their 45-minute feature race where a pit stop is required and a change of tyres. The pit window open about roughly just before halfway of the race, and it's usually around 30 to 30 is roughly when the pit window opens. Now open for 20 minutes. They got 20 minutes to pit within that window. If they do not pit within that window and change tyres, they will get a penalty. And then after all that, we will see who is champion of Suzuka by the end of the night. As I want to say good evening to everybody in the chat. Let's hear you all as we are live on YouTube to give you the best action here at Simplay Motorsport. Okay, it seems like I'm having lag issues again, so hopefully it's sorted itself out a little bit. Yeah, I think it's sorted itself out now, so apologies guys, I did have internet problems last night, so hopefully it sorted itself out, but we will try our very best, as I will try and help it out as much as I possibly can. So, a quick run of the standings at this stage. It is Ripper who still leads the way with a gap of 44 points. Second place is Overtaker, and in third place is Peaceful Explosion, who is still mathematically in this championship. But all Ripper needs to do is outscore him by 4 points, and Mike will then be out of the running. Gary131 currently sits in P4 with Matimovic sitting in P5. Nexus is currently in P6. He's trying to hunt down the Nexus is P7. He's trying to hunt down P6 man Tech Leader, with Fury sitting in P8. Jay is currently sitting P9 with Exitive sat in 10th place position. 11th is the way of Euro with 12th place going the way of Smoky Devil. Louis Allen in 13th place position with Paulo sitting in 14th. M Brava sits in 15th with Green Wolfinator 16th. Regarding the constructors, it is Teletubby Motorsport still leading away. They got a gap at 165 points over Killer Performance Motorsport. Jaeger Motorsport are only 3 points behind them in P3 position. And it's the Flying Potatoes in P4. Simplay Racing are currently in P5 with Titan Euro Racing still in P6 and just hanging on to a chance to stay in the championship. Hot Wheels Racing currently P7 with JW Esports Racing bringing up the rear. Regarding the constructors, Bentley are your constructors manufacturers champions with Audi in second, Ferrari third, Honda fourth, McLaren fifth, sixth is Porsche, seventh is Lexus, eighth is Aston, ninth is Jaguar, 10th is BMW, 11th is Lamborghini, 12th is Mercedes, 13th Nissan, 14th is Retia. And they are your championship standings. Wow. So, as I said, we've got an interesting night's worth of racing ahead of us. We've got very, very cold conditions here in Suzuka. It is currently 18 degrees temperature. The track is optimum, so it's at the best of its settings right now. And a quick run through the order at the minute. It is Ripper who's fastest at this stage, with Overtaker currently sitting in second. Tech Leader is in that P3. Peaceful Explosion currently P4. P5 is Paulo. P6 is Matimovic. P7 is Euro. P8 is Jay. P9 is Smoky Devil. Breeze making a quick step into tonight's race as a little fill-in to help fill the grid up a little bit more, so he's in 10th place. Tibbs in the 11th. Louis Allen currently 12th. Nexus is 13th, and Gary still yet to set a lap time, as is Nexus, as Ripper does a 59.8, so he goes into the 59s already. And what can Ripper do tonight? Can he continue his winning ways, or can Overtaker stop him and slow him down? We'll take a lap with Ripper as he heads towards turn 1, a double apex corner, as Gary doesn't really allow Ripper to take the line, and he goes off. So going to keep an eye out for that towards the end of the night. Who's currently in the final sector? That, I believe, I want the car in the final sector. Who is that? It is Matt. We'll take a lap of Suzuka with Matt Tahimovic. So, into the final famous chicane. Trying to get a good exit as he heads out the final corner, the final curve. As he then starts a lap here at Suzuka. I really hope he does not go into the pits. Knowing him, he probably will. So go down the back straight, the main straight, sorry, as we head towards turn 1, a double apex corner. Very easy to run wide and touch the outside curb. And Matt hitting apex number 1, making sure he hits apex number 2, and make sure he gets a great exit as he then heads up towards the snake. These curbs are very lethal at the minute. With these cold conditions, soft tyres, it'll be very difficult to keep the grip on track as he heads up the hill. Probably staying in third gear for most of it, and maybe drop down a second once or twice, but then making sure he gets a good exit up towards Dunlop. And he's got a bit of traffic of Smoky Devil, and hopefully Smoky Devil will get out of his way as Matt is on a lap. As he heads now towards Degner 1, a little bit easier to turn in, and then you go into Degner 2, making sure you get a good exit out of Degner 2, because you'll then head up to the heavy braking zone of the hairpin. Just brake just after the curb there, and then get it turned in. He takes a lot of curb, and that probably slowed him down as he tries to exit through there, as he heads towards the long sweeping right-hander before heading up towards Spoon. There's that beautiful sunset sitting in the background. An evening race here at Suzuka, as he then brakes for Spoon. And a very tricky corner to get right. You need to hit the apex of the first part and then be patient on the second part, as it kind of changes elevation and levels. The car is unsettled, is uncomfortable, and it tries to settle itself down as you then head towards the back straight, heading towards the famous 130R, where Alonso went right around the outside of Michael Schumacher in Formula 1, and through 130R he goes, making sure you're cautious on exit, because that curb will fling you off and lose your time. And then heading into the final chicane, very easy to miss your brakes there, and the curbs are also quite lethal as well, a bit slippery on exit, and then into the last curve. And there you go, that is a lap of Suzuka with Matt Tahimovic, the number 55, as he heads towards start finish line. And if you do a decent lap, you'll do a 1:59, and Matt, no improvement there. So as you can see, the field is quite spread out at the minute. Ripper setting the pace with Overtaker near enough a second off the pace, but I know he can do the lap times that Ripper's doing, so we will see those lap times possibly later on. Dennis Tech leader, best of the rest at the minute. He's only got half a second over Peaceful Explosion, while Paulo currently in 5th and Matt Tahimovic 6th. So all these guys are spread out quite a bit, but last night in the Pro-Am, it was this car, the Porsche, that looked the best car, with Ginger Bush in control of that one. And can Gary do anything with the Porsche tonight? You can hear him sliding and struggling through the Spoon corner there. As he heads up towards 130R. Pretty good through there. The Porsche seems quite content to go through there. When I was in the Audi, it didn't particularly like it too much, but what do I know? Ripper's fastest of them all, so I best just keep my mouth shut about that one. But the thing for me here for Suzuka is all about being patient and taking your time with this place. You can throw your car around and be aggressive, but it's one of those circuits where you do need to be patient and take your time, and it's one that's very, very difficult to master. So I think a lot of these guys, especially with these cooler conditions, are going to take them time to just get used to these conditions, get the hang of what car they have underneath them, and just try and dial in a setup, dial in everything so that they can have the best possible race for the sprint and the feature. So obviously, like I said, the reverse grid is already set, and this is what it will look like. It will be Paulo starting on pole position, with Louis Allen starting in P2. Smoky Devil will be in P3 with Euro in P4. Tibbs will be P5 with Jay in P6. 7th will be Nexus. 8th will be Tech Leader. Matt will be in 9th. 10th will be Gary 131. 11th Peaceful Explosion. 12th Overtaker. 13th Ripper, and Breeze at the back of the pack as he steps in for this one. And like I said, it's going to be exciting tonight as the fight between Ripper and Overtaker continues on. Peaceful has got a very slim chance of staying in this championship fight, but I feel like he's going to be knocked out after tonight, unless something amazing happens tonight where possibly they trip over one another. It has been done before. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost into turn 1, or into the final chicane. There's been moments in Suzuka that's produced some fantastic racing, and I got a feeling tonight is going to be one of the greatest yet at Simplay and Motorsport. We've had 2 amazing rounds already here. The GT4s was a great scrap between myself and Fury, and then obviously the Pro-Ams with Ginger Bush taking 2 wins, and the Porsche looking the strongest overall. But at the minute, Gary struggling in his Porsche, currently 5 seconds off the pace of Ripper. So we see Breeze just struggling on exit there, as they are coming down to their last 2 minutes of practice. And while we're at it, if you do like what you see here at Simplay Motorsport, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss a single thing here at Simplay Motorsport. And if you scroll down in the chat, into the bio as well, you'll see our 2 fantastic sponsors. Yeah, you'll see our 2 fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. So have a look at their links in the description. As Christmas is coming, so get your chance to buy all your Christmas gifts with those guys to improve your T4, T5 styling and audio. And also, if you want a lovely gift with an engraving or vinyl graphics or mugs or printed clothing, then head over to Design Manchester as well. So we do have obviously the PS5 League running on Sunday night with myself and Matt Imovich, aka Matthew Duffin. We'll be bringing you the action at Donington Park, another evening race. So we will stay in the evening, but we'll fully be flying back to the UK as we'll be racing at the new home of Simplay Motorsport. So it used to be Daytona, but we are now kind of adopted as Donington Park as our home now, as only 3 cars are on track, and it's Nexus and Ripper and Smoky Devil. Nexus the only one not set a lap time. And also make sure you tune in for next week, as we will still have racing going on. We have GT4s. The championship is still alive between myself and Fury in the GT4s as we head to Nürburgring, but we do have Peaceful Explosion in his Mercedes getting his first win, and that was at this circuit as well in the Mercedes. So Peaceful now on 3 wins, and he done it in the GT4. So can he continue that on as we head to Nürburgring, where it possibly could be a wet race ahead? And also the AMs will be continuing their championship as well behind closed doors on a Tuesday night, while Wednesday night the Pro-Ams will be back on track. If enough drivers is on track, we will be streaming that one as well. And the pros will make their return on screen as they'll be heading to Nürburgring as well. And our only night race of the season, and it's going to be a wet one, so it should be an interesting night for sure. But right now, we are focusing on the here and now. And Nexus, can he finally get a lap time on the board? Ripper is on a lap. He comes to the line at 59.8 at the minute. Nexus invalidated his lap, and I believe did Ripper improve? That is the question. He did a 59.6. So in the end, he was a whole second faster than his closest rival, which was Overtaker. So these guys will just be getting their setups all sorted and ready to go for the first race tonight, which will be the reverse grid sprint race. And I will reread the order for you on that one, so even the drivers know exactly where they're starting. So it'll be Paulo starting on pole position, with Louis Allen starting in second. Third will be Smokey Devil. Fourth will be Euro. Fifth will be Tibbs. Sixth will be then Jay. Seventh will be Nexus. Eighth will be Tech Leader. Ninth will be Matt Tahimovic. 10th will be Gary 131. 11th will be Peaceful Explosion. 12th will be Overtaker. 13th will be Ripper. And 14th will be Breeze. As Gary heads out on track. But that is the end of qualifying. And we will now head into the sprint race. So like I said, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss a thing here at Simplay Motorsport. The practice session was sat at around 16 air temperature. The track temperature was at 18 degrees. We're now going into the race, and the air temperature has dropped to 12 and track temperature is 13. So the track is a lot cooler now, but we are still in optimum conditions at the minute. But it should be a fun night of racing here, as I will get a poll out on who you think will win the first race tonight. It is a very, very difficult track to overtake. So we might see a couple of drivers coming into the pits straight away so they can try and get that clean air. But the likely chances are everyone will be thinking the same thing. If you're in the chat, let's hear from you. Say hello, whatever. We'll get involved beyond your drivers as well. I want to hear from you guys. We'll put Paulo as one of the drivers to possibly take the win, as he is starting on pole position.
20 seconds.
We'll go with Smokey Devil. And I'll tell you what, we have to add the main two as well. But like I said, if you do think any of the drivers that are on that poll are going to win this first race, then please put your vote in on the chat. And let's hear from you guys. Currently 10 people watching the stream. Get yourself involved. Let's hear from you guys and support your drivers. Reminder, it should be Paulo who's on pole position. And there he is. None of these guys want to be going too slow because they want to try and generate the temperature in the tyres and try and get as much pressure into them as well. So Paulo starts on pole. Then we should have Louis Allen, and that it is Louis Allen. Then we should have Smokey Devil in P3, and so it is. Euro should then be in P4. P5 should then be Tibbs. P6 will be the way of Jay. P7 is Nexus. And then P8, it will be Tech Leader. Tech Leader, he's at the top. And there he is. Jay's just testing if his Ferrari is like a Honda and can cut the grass. And as you can see, it can't. So Tech Leader starts 8th. 9th will be Matt. And there he is. And then it should be his teammate, Gary 131. Followed by Peaceful, their good friend Peaceful, and probably those three are in a party together. Then it'll be the top two, Overtaker, followed by Ripper, and then finally at the back will be Breeze. So guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. Already someone thinking that Paulo is going to win this one. 2 votes to Paulo actually. So great to see Paulo getting some support. As we are about to get underway here at Suzuka for the sprint. And Breeze, what can he do from the back of the pack? Obviously stepping in just to fill the grid up a little bit more. And can he just mind his own business and allow the guys to do their thing? As we are about to get underway here. Right, so just spreading the stream around a little bit. So who are we going to go to start the race with? I think we will go on board. We'll go on board with Tech Leader, right in the middle of the pack. And we will see how this race goes down. Paulo getting the most votes at the minute, 2 apiece at this stage. But Smoky Devil also getting 1 as well. So let's see who is going to come out on top. As they then head into the final chicane, into the final curve. The wheel is all lit up. We are ready to go here in Japan, the land of the rising sun. The home of Honda, and who is going to be the samurai of Simplay Motorsport? Who is going to come out on top here in Japan? As Tech Leader really wanted to get close to Nexus there. He needs to really be over on the left-hand side a little bit more, but they're all getting ready. The race is now initialized. Honda versus McLaren on the front row. And we are green here as Suzuka, and Nexus has got a decent start, but Paulo's got a brilliant start as it's Honda versus Ferrari, and Jay sending it down the inside as contact with Tech Leader. Euro's gone off. There's a Honda going off wide as well, but Smoky Devil holds his ground just up ahead, and Jay has to feed him behind, but he jumps multiple cars there, and he's had a fantastic start there, and it looks like Louis Allen is the one that came off worse, as they all start to try and beat themselves into order. Just behind them is Overtaker. You can see all of them trying to work their way through the S's, and you got Matt, Gary and Peaceful all managing to escape the going wide Honda as they all head up towards Dunlop curve. Matt touching the curve ever so slightly. He's right on the rear wing of Tech Leader, and he's got his teammate right behind him as well. So it's all very tight and everyone very clean through sector 1. But there goes Tech Leader. He's gone off wide. And already the Degner's caught him out, but he's managed to feed himself right in front of Overtaker, and he would not want that. Louis Allen, the biggest loser out of all that, he dropped to the back, and Breeze is actually jumped. Ripper is now defending from Ripper as Overtaker has got Peaceful, and Peaceful's got contact from Breeze. And there we go, Ripper has been involved now, so Ripper's got front end damage as well, as Peaceful ends up facing the wrong way. Meanwhile, Jay has already cleared Paulo and Smoky Devil as they head up towards Spoon. So the Ferrari now leads here, and Paulo is going to try his best to try and stick to the back of him, and Smoky Devil is a little bit loose on there as the Honda of Tibbs trying to stick with them as well. But other than Peaceful facing the wrong way, it's been a relatively clean and good start here, as now we got Matinovic trying to find a way past on Tech Nexus. The Jaguar right in the way of the Bentley as they head up to 130R, and they have to be cautious as Tech Leader thought about going on Gary, and Order managed to negotiate 130R. Very tricky corner to get right, especially in racing conditions, but we're all through lap 1, and it is Jay who leads after lap 1 here at Suzuka. 18 minutes left to go. Who's coming to the pit? Smoky Devil has chosen to pit early, and will this strategy work? Overtaker has come in with him as anyone else opting to go into the pits, as Breeze has got damage obviously to the rear end of his car. Ripper's in as well, and Peaceful. So the problem Overtaker and Ripper are going to have is they've got a Smoky Devil coming into the pits as well, so that is going to be interesting. Will Smoky hold them up and slow them all down, or has Smoky pulled a master plan here to try and jump these guys in the pits and get clean air? Meanwhile, Matt through the snake is all over the back of the Jaguar of Nexus, and his teammate is right behind him and going with him, and right now it is Tibbs who is holding up this train as they head up towards Dunlop, towards Degner 1. And Tibbs doing a fantastic job in the Honda just to hold everyone off, and that's allowing Paulo and Jay to just disappear into the distance as Tibbs runs a little bit wide as they get into Degner 2. Nexus now right on the rear wing of that Honda. Can he find a way through? He's looking left, he's looking right, up to the hairpin. And normally down the inside is where you get the job done, but no one else is thinking about making a move. As Smoky Devil's gone green, but Overtaker has cleared him in the pits. Smoky Devil is going to have to look into the rear of Overtaker, and Overtaker, perfect opportunity now for him to do clean laps and lead this race if possible. The question is, will Jay now react straight away to cover the guys behind him? Everywhere else relatively even. It is now about this mid-pack, which Tibbs is holding on for dear life at the minute. But he's got the Jaguar of Nexus, the Bentley of Matt, and the Porsche and Ferrari of Gary 131 and Tech Leader. Tech Leader much better through Spoon. And he's looking to the inside of 130R. This will be a brake move, and he's going for it. And how they both get through 130R. Gary holds on to the position, but fantastic driving from both drivers there. Gary giving the space and respect. Tech Leader also taking as much curb as he possibly could, and both of them managed to negotiate 130R. Nexus in, Gary's now into the pits. Can Tech Leader do anything about the two in front now? Fantastic stuff here from the pro drivers. Euro in P8, he got shoved off wide earlier on in the race. As Breeze now into the pits as well. So right now, Overtaker, it's got clean air. The lead car of all that was Nexus. We will see where all these guys will feed out, but their tyres are going to be cold. They need to be getting up to temperature really quickly. And right now, it is Jay who still leads this race at him. He's got a comfortable gap of 1.4, and Paulo is sticking with him. So the downforce of the McLaren helping him out massively here. But Matt is now putting the Honda of Tibbs under some immense pressure here as they head up towards Dunlop. As Tibbs runs wide, he's onto the grass and he can't escape the grass and pulls out, and he loses the position to Matumovic, who's slowly working his way up, who is he said to me just before we went, oh, Tibbs has a big snap through the exit of Degna 1 as they go through Degna 2. Matt was telling me just before he went live that he's not a massive fan of Suzuka, and he really does not like this circuit, and he's been struggling with setups, but so far so good for him. He's currently P3. All he's got to do now is chase down Jay and Paulo as Nexus exits the pits, but he loses out to Overtaker. Gary comes out. Smoky Devil loses out to Nexus, so possibly that one lap that they came in early has held them up, as Ripper has got to clear Gary. So Ripper losing out to Gary 131 there. So Overtaker middle way through the S's at the minute and long gone into the distance. Meanwhile, Tech Leader, is he going to try again at 130R? This time not on the Porsche, but on the Honda of Tibbs as they head up towards 130R. And about halfway through this race, I will end the pole, and he doesn't think about it. Looks like the Honda's got enough grunt. The Porsche was a little bit slow in a straight line, but Tech Leader thought better of that one as they bounce over the final chicane now. Can Tech Leader get a good exit and head towards turn 1 and try and pass Tibbs? Tibbs opts to pit, and Tech Leader goes very wide, had to lift off the throttle as Euro is slowly creeping onto them. As Jay still leads this race, he got a comfortable gap, 2 seconds, well, near enough 2 seconds over Paulo, but Paulo is keeping him honest, keeping him in sight, as Matt is not a million miles away from him either. Tech Leader is in P4, Euro P5, and Louis Allen and Tibbs, two teammates, Titan Euro Racing, both into the pits. But the leading car from the pits has been overtaken. Nexus is in P9, but Smoky Devil's right behind him in P10. Gary is in P11, Ripper P12, Peaceful P13, and Breeze bringing up the rear. So Ripper now looking to try and find a way past on the Porsche driver of Gary 131. Where will the Hondas feed in all of this? As you see there, Ripper just very tentative on the throttle on the exit of 130R as Gary's gone very deep in the final chicane, and he near enough collects Ripper on exit there. He probably should have gone straight on, but either way, he will feed behind Ripper as Tibbs now comes out of the pits. There goes Nexus, there goes Smokey. Is he going to get him into turn 1 on the outside? He's going to try it out as best he can, and Tibbs cannot get Smoky Devil. Beautiful move. He had to be brave, and around the outside goes Smoky Devil and ahead of exit Tibbs. So looks like the undercut isn't the strongest. The overcut seems to be pretty good, but Tibbs has been holding everybody up a little bit as Louis Allen has dropped down the order. Has he made contact with anyone? Not by the looks of it. He's had his own moment, but Right now, they're all in this train here, and Tibbs, they're losing out to Ripper, as now Ripper goes up another position and slowly working his way through, but already 8 seconds down the road from Nexus is Overtaker. And you got this gaggle of cars, Ripper now right on the rear wing of Smoky Devil. Can he do anything about Smoky Devil? He thinks of it about it in the hairpin, but not quite enough of an overlap on that one. So Overtaker currently is coming up to Spoon, and Jay is now into the pits. If he gets a good stop, he should be looking good, as Tech Leader is now starting again onto the back of Matahimovic, as Wayne in the chat says, come on Jay, you've got this in the bag. He's doing very good at the minute. He has been leading most of this race. He's into the pits. Overtaker is now into the 130R corner. We'll keep an eye on that gap, but Smoky Devil right now is still trying to defend from Ripper, and we'll keep an eye on Jay as Overtaker goes into the chicane. And if Jay goes green now, it's going to be very, very close. I think Overtaker has got Jay. There he goes. He goes green. So Overtaker does get Jay and should be leading this race. So there goes Overtaker. He now leads from the pit stops. And Nexus is in the final corner, but Jay should feed out in second place, and he does. So right now, Overtaker has got a good, healthy lead over the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, Ripper still can't find a way past on Smoky Devil, and this is the problem of Suzuka, as Smoky has a big moment in turn one, and you can see Ripper is just being patient, biding his time, and he can't find a way past on Smoky Devil. He's looking left, looking right as they head up towards the snake. And right now he's losing major points to Overtaker. Overtaker is trying to creep that championship points down as we get to the halfway stage. And Paulo at the minute and Smoky Devil are leading the polls at the minute, but I feel like it's going to be Overtaker on this one. We are halfway through this race. So can Ripper find a way through? Louis Allen's back into the pits as he got major damage. Doesn't look like on the rear, so possibly on the front, as Paulo now opts to pit, and Overtaker should have him as well. Matt opts to pit as well, so it'll be Tech Leader who now leads this race from Euro. Ferrari 1-2, but I feel like Overtaker independently has been looking so dominant on his own, as Gary 131 has found a way past Nexus, and they've dropped behind also Smoky Devil and Ripper. Gary, so I don't know if Nexus has had a moment somewhere, and he's now lost out to a lot of drivers, as Smokey's really loose on the rear, and Ripper looks on the inside of Spoon. He's just sticking a nose in there, and he's got the drive, he's got the run. Can he keep the grunt though as they head up towards Spoon, towards 130R? This will be brave. They're going side by side down the back straight towards the 130R, and it looks like the BMW's got a little bit more straight line speed. Smokey's not one to give in, and he'll stick it, and through he goes. Ripper, you've got to do something better than that, mate, because Smokey's not making it easy for you. Smokey putting on a fantastic defense here, and the rear end is so twitchy on that car. Paulo now exits the pits, and he will stay in front of these guys. Jay will jump Paulo, but Paulo will come out ahead of Smokey and Ripper. Here comes Ripper towards turn one, but once again, that BMW just pulling away ever so slightly in a straight line. Who breaks the latest? It is Smoky Devil, but Ripper is sending it to the inside. Smokey finally has to concede, and there you go. The Audi driver Ripper, it took him too long to clear the BMW, but he's finally done it, and through he goes. Meanwhile, just ahead of him, there's a Honda off that looks like Louis Allen, and he is struggling. He's gone round, and Ripper manages not to get tripped over with him on that one. Matt, meanwhile, is ahead of Ripper, and Louis Allen has returned back to the pit, so he is struggling at the minute out there. So after the pit stops, it's Overtaker from Jay, from Paulo, from Matahimovic, as Paulo runs very, very wide there. So can Paulo hang in there? Matt's flashing him, and he's trying to distract him by those scissors. Ripper is P7, 8th is Smoky Devil. Gary's now catching him with P4 in 10th. Nexus 11th. Tibbs is down in 12th with Breeze in 13th. And now Tech Leader opts to pit. Euro probably going to leave it as late as he possibly dares, as they're all too busy fighting one another. And I think Overtaker should have this in the bag, really. 15 of you currently watching the stream. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here as Simplay Motorsport, as Gary is now on the rear of Smoky Devil. And Smoky Devil in the BMW just seems to be struggling at this stage of the race. Possibly the tyre pressures are all wrong, and he is a bit under pressure here, as Matt is also within 3/10 of Paulo. Paulo running a little bit wide in 130R, but he manages to collect it together. His internet isn't the greatest, so Matt's going to have fun trying to clear that one, as Tech Leader hasn't gone green yet. He was one of the first ones into the pits, and he's going to drop down the order as Gary's trying to find a way past Smoky Devil. And Smokey's really loose on exit as Tech Leader has gone green. Who's he going to feed out behind? There goes Matt and Paulo. There goes Ripper. And then it's this Smoky Devil Gary 131 fight, and he's gonna try and get Smoky into turn one. Smoky tries it around the outside. Tech Leader stays strong on the inside, and the Ferrari stays in front. Now Gary's in the Porsche right behind the pair of them. Smoky goes wide. Gary's gonna try and go around the outside of the Snake, and he gets a little bit eager. There goes a bit wide, and he holds it together. Peaceful's just behind all this lot, so Tech Leader just hanging in on that one as Matt's now right on the rear wing of Paulo. Can Paulo hang on here for his first podium, I think, this season? He's got Matt Imovic behind him, so can he hang on? Or is Matt going to get him towards the end of this race? But Ripper will be wanting to watch this fight in much detail as Paulo lets him go. Paulo allows Matt Imovic through, and Matt got away very lightly there. But Ripper is on his way. Can he catch Matt and Paulo with 5.5 minutes left to go as Euro is now into the pit? So Jay and Overtaker should have him covered. But great race already from these guys at Suzuka, and Ripper is on the back foot. He's got cars to clear while Overtaker did the job earlier on, as we see here Smoky Devil's flashing his lights maybe to Gary, saying, look mate, what was that about? Possibly, we don't know, as he's gone wide, and now Nexus to the inside, and there you go, Smoky Devil tumbling down the order here, and he is now dropped down to P11 I think now, as Nexus is going in front of him. But Smoky Devil will try and come back in at 130R, and into 130R they come, and Smoky has to think better of it, as Euro hasn't gone green yet. Overtaker goes into the lead, as now Jay goes into second. He has gone green now, so who is going to be at advantage here? It's going to be Tech Leader who's going to be behind Euro. So Euro, who opted to stay out longer, has managed to get the overcut done, but now they go 3 wide down towards turn one, and Peaceful threads the needle, and through he goes. The Honda splitting, or being split by 2 Ferraris. He works his way through the pair of them, and he is now up into P6 I believe now, when the times update themselves. But great judgment there from the drivers, and Peaceful working his way through. Meanwhile, Ripper has caught Paulo. Paulo still within a second of Matahimovic. If Ripper clears him, it'll be a very close fight towards the end, as Tech Leader has still on the rear end of Peaceful, and he's still looking to try and make a move as they head up towards the Degners. It will not happen here. It'll probably be anything that hairpin, and Peaceful takes a lot of curb there. Meanwhile, Ripper has caught these two. Matt seems to be struggling. Paulo gained back on Matt on this sector here, as now we've got the 2 Ferraris trying to hunt down Peaceful. The car that he rejected a couple of seasons ago is now hunting him down, and Tech Leader is right there, right behind the Honda. As we look back to Ripper, he's already cleared Paulo. Paulo has allowed him through. So now his next target is Matimovic. Overtaker, meanwhile, is through 130R. Jay is in second, and I think those two are safe and gone, as Matimovic in third. He's now going to get hunted down by the Ripper. Meanwhile, we've still got this great scrap. Who's leading the way at the minute? It is Peaceful in P6, but he's got Tech Leader and the other Ferrari of Euro, the 77 and the 75, coming to the back end of the Honda, and Mike gives a big lift through 130R, and it's actually put him off. He runs wide. The Tech Leader has to stay to the outside. Peaceful tries to brake later, and they make contact. They keep it together, and Mike stays in front, but Tech Leader gets a tap from Euro, and now Gary's involved. As they all come closer, while they're all too busy scrapping one another, Nexus could gain onto the back of them, as Tibbs is now on the rear wing of Smoky Devil. So Smoky's strategy is going from bad to worse here, as his tyre seems to be dying off. As Ripper now, can he catch the Bentley of Matt towards the end here? Matt going through the snake, hanging in there. The tech leader, as Gary goes around the outside of the snake, he tried it earlier on, and this time he actually manages to secure the position, and he goes ahead of Euro. Tibbs, meanwhile, still looking to try and make a move on Smoky Devil, but can't seem to find a way through at this stage, as Ripper is trying to bring that gap down to Matt. It seems like the Audi seems to be very good in this middle sector. There's not a lot of straights, and it's all about grip and traction. Come on, guys, there's 16 of you watching this stream right now. Hit that like button, because these guys have put on a fantastic show here at Suzuka. Not the easiest track to race on, and these guys are pulling some fantastic moves here. And I think already, for me, the move of the night, it was tech leader Gary both managing to negotiate 130R was fantastic. And how they managed to do that, I do not know. Tech leader is not giving up on Peaceful, and Ripper has not given up on Matt. So this is going to be a fight till the end. We will get one more lap as Overtaker goes very wide. But he has got time to spare, so he can give that time back. But tech leader looking for a move down the inside of Spoon. He's got a better exit, and here we go again. Tech leader is side by side with another car as they head up towards 130R. But the Honda is much better in a straight line than the Porsche. Who's gonna brave it out? Tech leader's gonna stick his nose there. But Peaceful manages to hang on. That was very close to a disaster. Smoky Devil very twitchy through 130R. The gap between Matt and Overtaker is now half a second. Matt has got to hang on for one more lap. As Paulo looking good in P5. That's probably his best position this season. But Tech Leader is still trying to attack Peaceful Explosion right to the bitter end. Gary still trying to attack Euro. And Tibbs has lost out to Smoky Devil here, as he's actually closer to Nexus. Time is up. This is the last lap, and we are now going to keep our eye on this fight between third and fourth. Matt's had a wiggle. He's had a moment through the first Egner. Jay's had a moment, I think, as well, because they've actually caught onto the back of him. He was 3.4 the gap, and that gap has come down, so maybe Jay has had a moment somewhere. But here comes Ripper into the hairpin. He gains closer. Meanwhile, Tech Leader is off. Gary's had a moment. Oh, Gary trying to hold it together, and he just about does. But Euro will sneak through, as will Nexus, and Tibbs not quite close enough. Gary, how he not spun that right round, I do not know. But we go to your leader, who's currently coming up towards 130R. Pitted straight away, got clean air, and not looked back since. Overtaker through 130R into the final chicane. He will bring that points gap down into the chicane. He comes. He's going to be hoping the other Bentley of Matt is going to hang in there for P3. But Overtaker exits the final corner. He comes home and he wins the first race here as Suzuka. P1 for Overtaker. Across the line he goes. Jay, meanwhile, is just going to hang in there for P2. Whatever happened in Sector 1, he's managed to hang in there. So Jay will take P2. Matt is going to hang in there for P3 on the podium for Matt. You probably weren't expecting that. Ripper P4. Paulo is going to come in for a solid P5. With Peaceful Explosion going to hang in there for P6. Highest place for the Honda drivers. P6 for him. Tech Leader will come home in 7th. Euro in 8th. Gary 131 will finish in 9th, but only just from Nexus in P10. Then it's Tibbs in P11, Smoky Devil in P12, and Breeze bringing it home in 13th. Louis Allen retired, so he'll have to take a qualifying ban for Nürburgring, but Overtaker, what a first race for him. He did everything that he needed to do in that one and took the sprint win. Congratulations to him. Fantastic racing from all of these guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified. And if you do want to be a part of the racing here at Simplay Motorsport, then head over to the Sim Grid. Get involved, sign up to the Discord, and see all the fantastic racing that you can be involved in as well here at Simplay Motorsport. But right now, we are going to be heading to a short break while these guys get themselves sorted. So we shall see you in a few moments' time. I do not want to hear you chatting shit about Suzuka no more.
I just hung on, mate.
Fuck off, did you hang on? You got through the pack and you managed to hold your place. The only person who was
just-
catching you was Ripper. And let's be honest,
just kept it steady.
the guy was doing 59s.
Yeah, I just kept it steady, mate.
That's what I told
didn't
you.
do nothing- I
No,
do
you
nothing
didn't.
special.
You didn't need to do anything special. This is what this track's all about. It's not about going fast. It's about staying alive. Speaking of staying alive, how's Mike?
Couple of tickets gone in from Mike, I think.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. The guy needs to learn not to get involved in incidences.
The
I saw
blue one I've just looked at. I saw that. I understand that one.
Yeah, but he could have done something to avoid it.
Yeah.
He could have ran wide, for starters. By the way, I don't care what anyone says, Tech Leader has the biggest fucking balls of anyone.
Why?
He went side by side with Gary through 130R.
I've always said you can race that Gary 131. He's clean.
And then he went side by side again with Peaceful through 130R. Now that was brave.
Peaceful going Nexus. Up the inside of 130R.
Excuse me, why are you looking at the tickets?
Oh, that is naughty, that. That is naughty. I like to have a little look.
Oh, let's just open up to everybody to have a little look.
No, I just like to have a little peruse, see what's gone in. Overtaker text me saying cheers the minute the race had finished.
Yep. What the fuck, Nexus?
Yeah, on the mic one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little naughty, that one.
I think Mike could have done something about that. Personally.
Left him a car's width. So I need to add Overtaker to that list. Oh look, Overtaker's now the most successful driver at this circuit.
I mean, to be fair, Mike is not all the way to the fucking left, so don't help himself there.
Diddle-a-dun, diddle-a-dun, diddle-a-dun,
So, 159 then, Matt, yeah? Come on, pull out the bag. I did a 2-minute flat last night.
Fucking hell, mate. I was only just touching a 2-minute one flat in the fucking race.
You have so much grip this one, trust me.
Oh, mate, fuck me. That start was so, slow. It was unbelievable. Just the fucking...
By the way, how Mike managed to get away with not hitting 2 Ferraris heading into turn 1, Jesus fucking
he did
Christ.
say threaded the needle or something. I think you described it, I heard on comms.
Yep. I sounded quite passionate tonight, don't you, Hank?
I do. No funny names for you to say, though, tonight, is there?
Cranky Duckhead.
I don't even know why. It sounds funny. Evening, Jay. I see you lurking in my chat.
Fuck you. Oh, fuck, guys. I checked it. There was no dive.
I don't know.
There was no dive, you just didn't leave space. how none of you had a massive moment through 130R, I don't know.
I think I was being overly cautious here because every time I'd gain on
Every time I went on board with Overtaker on board with him, he was taking so much track limits.
Your dad was last night, though, to be fair, and every time. And then he said after the stream, he's like, no, I didn't take any.
Why are you hugging the wall, Mike? There's pointless doing that. Right, we'll go back live in a minute. I'm just waiting to see which car goes out first. And it will be you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this stream. And we're about to get underway for the qualifying session. And it was Matt who was first out of the pits, but it's instead Ripper. I think he didn't want to be the first out, so he went back in the pits. Or he done his classic thing of the setup didn't load up correctly. Either way, we are back. Thought as much. We are back, and Overtaker managed to win the sprint race, and this is what it's done to the championship standings. It was a 40-plus gap. It is now brought down to 33, but also it is now down to 2. Peaceful is now not able to win the championship, so it is now down to the man that's on screen, who is still leading the championship at the minute. Ripper still with a gap of 33 points ahead of his closest and only rival now, Overtaker. In third place is still Peaceful Explosion, and in fourth is now Matt Irovich. He's jumped ahead of his teammate Gary 131, but also Matt will not be here next week at Nürburgring, so he's just trying to hang on to the top 5 for as long as he possibly can. P5 is obviously Gary 131. P6 is now Tech Leader, with P7 going away of Nexus. P8 is Jay as Fury drops down the orders to P9 as he's not made an appearance for a while now. As P10 is Tibbs, P11 is Euro, P12 is Smoky Devil, 13th is Paulo, probably one of his best positions of the season so far. Louis Allen in 14th with a kind of disastrous race, with M. Plummet in 15th. And Wolfenayer in 16th place position. Regarding the constructors, Tele W Motorsport still leading away from Jaeger Motorsport now, who've gone back ahead of Killer Performance Motorsport. Flying Potatoes are in P4, with Simplay Racing in P5, Titan Euro in P6. P7 is Hot Wheels Racing and JW Esports Racing in P8. Titan Euro are now out of the Constructors' Championship fight as well. And it's still Bentley from Audi, Ferrari, Honda, McLaren, Porsche, Lexus, Aston Martin, Jaguar, BMW, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Nissan, and Retia. We do have your P3 man, your P3 man, Matt Irovich, in the party with us as he tries to negotiate a lap of Suzuka and also try and do an interview. And I'll tell you what, it is probably one of the hardest things he'll do this season. But Matt, first things first, I bet you wasn't expecting that after the brief conversation that me and you had just before we went live. But nonetheless, you got P3. You had to work hard for it, though. You had to pass a couple of cars on track, and at certain points, it started to open up for you as people came into the pits. How was race 1, and how were the conditions out there?
Conditions seemed a little slippy. I don't know if that was just on my end, but the cooler temperatures really do play a factor on this game. You really sort of notice it more if you ain't got your tyre pressures absolutely bang on. But yeah, like you say, the cars pitted, managed to do some overtaking, kept out of trouble. And yeah, it was a good race. Like you say, I'm really over the moon with that. That's like a race win for me, because I think you said on stream, never go well here, whether it's F1 game, whether it's the Sakito on Project Cars 2 or this. I've never gone well at this track, so yeah, no, I'll take that.
Obviously, he just spoke to me in the party chat just now before we went live. It was more about being patient and just not making mistakes, I take it, around here.
Yeah, it braked early into turn 1, and then it was kind of, more worried about Gary on lap 1 rear-ending me, because the queue was, there's nowhere to overtake in the snake, so the queue was absolutely mental. So it was about keeping cool and not making a mistake through there. Didn't manage to, start to pull away from Gary. And then picked a few drivers off. It would have been nice to have picked Jay off at the end, but, he did well done to him, and overtake for the win.
Obviously, a lot of things that seem to be affecting the Pro-Ams as well is the tricky corner of 130R, and I think most of the pros managed to negotiate with no real issues. It seems like your Bentley seems pretty stable through there as we just watch you go through that corner.
Yeah, the Bentley feels quite nice. I think I'm being overly cautious and not attacking it as hard as other drivers. I did notice that in the race, at one stage of it, I was behind Nexus, and he just pulled away from me like mad through 130R. I don't think I'm attacking it as hard as I should be, and that's possibly down to me, you know, probably a bit cautious of dropping it. But yeah, we'll see what we can do race 2. It's a 45-minute race, a lot longer for drivers to make more mistakes, and hopefully this Bentley that it felt good in race 1, felt really good in race 1. Didn't feel quick, but that's probably me, not the car. Yeah, felt really good. Hopefully race 2 we can score some more points.
And really, obviously not you making Nürburgring. Is this really all about just trying to hang in there for the top 5 position?
Damage limitations, Dan. I've said it all season. When you miss, you know, I've missed a third of the season after next week, you're really sort of hanging on in there. Tech leaders come on leaps and bounds, Jay's come on leaps and bounds, Gary's having a good season, so is Mike. You know, you've got Tibbs, who's had good races at times. If Fury was here, he'd surely be up there fighting for that top 5 C8s. Score well this week, miss next week, you know, take my losses, come back from Mizano and score well there to try and get that top 5. If not, fight for a top 4.
Well, congratulations on the P3 in race 1.
Cheers,
and best
buddy.
of luck for the second race. And that was Matimovic. He takes his podium here at Suzuka, and like I said, he probably takes that as a win, being not the circuit that he seems to enjoy around here, whether if it was in a single-seater or a GT car or probably even in an LMP car, he probably would still detest this circuit. Nonetheless, there was a lot of other drivers who love this circuit, and Overtaker is one of them. He has now become the most successful driver around Sekito/Suzuka, and I think as well, it's one of his all-time favorites, I think, as well. So he is definitely putting a threat on Ripper, as Ripper has set the benchmark. He's done a 1:59. I was going to say 8, but he's now done a 4. So Ripper goes fastest of them all, and he's got a gap of 1.1 over Overtaker at the minute. Currently, no one's on a lap time except for the 55 of Matimovic as he exits the final corner, and he's currently 2.4 off the pace. Can he start being a little bit braver in sectors and try and push it a little bit harder? He goes ahead of his teammate, but only just probably half a tenth over his teammate at the minute. But we know Gary can probably pull something out of the bag last minute here, and the Porsche did look very good in the hands of Ginger Bush. Because we've got Tech Leader now going through 130R as Nexus in the chat. Be aware the Jag at the back straight, everyone. I sacrificed all my top speed to make turning probably the rest of the track. So Nexus there just struggling with grip by the sounds of things, and gave away all of his downforce so he could focus on cornering speed. As Tech Leader crosses the line, he does improve, but doesn't improve on his position. We've got a couple of cars in the final sector now. One of them is Peaceful Explosion, and the other is Jay, both on valid lap times. Jay's going to be the first one to cross the line. Where will that put him? And then Mike right behind him. So Jay goes P7, Peaceful goes P5 behind his good friends Gary and Matt in the Jaeger Duo cars, and he's then dropped it into turn 1. We then look to Smoky Devil, who's now coming up to 130R. Hopefully he's dialed in his pressures a little bit better, and he goes relatively well through 130R, braking for the final chicane. Make sure he gets it turned in, takes a lot of curve. The BMW seems to be able to abuse the curve quite a lot there. My Aston seemed to be bashing its nose on the top of the curb, so I couldn't do that. But nonetheless, Smoky Devil has seemed to risen his ride high, and towards the line he comes, and he stays slowest of them all with a valid lap time. He goes 8th. Meanwhile, a few drivers still not set a lap time. The number 75, that is Euro. He's on a valid lap time, and he's got the Gary 131 right behind him in the Porsche. And also, I believe, who is that? I believe that's Matt again behind Gary as well. So we'll look to those three in a minute. But it will be a Euro to first to cross the line. Here he comes. P11 at the minute, and it will be P8. As Gary comes towards the line, no improvement. Then it's going to be his teammate, or was going to be his teammate, as Matt has now returned to the pits. And back to his party he goes. So number 81, that is Paulo, who's now into the chicane. What can he do? Probably his best result yet in the pro category, and he looking to try and continue that form tonight in McLaren. Should be a good car around here, a lot of downforce on the car. As he heads towards the line, he goes P8. Meanwhile, the 24 of Tibbs next across the line on a ladder lap. He goes P9. And we're still waiting for Louis Allen and Nexus to put in a valid lap time. I believe that's the 15 it is of Jay in the final corner, and we're still yet to see what lap time Overtaker can do, as the wind direction has just changed, but the wind has died down as well. So as he heads towards the line, and no improvement there for Jay. He will stay where he is. Man of the hour, it is Overtaker. He's currently 1.1 off the pace, and he tries to go a little bit faster in the final corner. He tries to take the shortest line possible to the line, and then wanders off to the left for some bizarre reason. And he's 0.3 off the back of Ripper, but he's in the 159s as well. I was going to be very disappointed if both of them didn't get in it, because they've both been saying in the Discord how fast they can go around here, and both of them are in the 59s now. Can Overtaker get any closer? No one currently on a valid lap time bar Gary131, who now heads up to 130R, and he does not want to be touching the grass there. A little bit loose on exit there. I think he's also got a car behind him as well. I think that's the 75 of Euro. Gary just keeps it within limits, but he really misses the braking point massively there. But out of the final corner comes Gary131. Currently P4. Can he improve? No, he does not. And he probably lost it all in the chicane. And there's now Paulo next to the line. And can Paulo make an improvement here? Through the chicane he goes. Out of the final corner, towards the line he comes. And Paulo currently sitting in P8. Any improvement here? None. He will stay P8. We now have the 43, I believe, of... no. It's the 95 of Louis Allen, and he goes P12. Next valid lap is Overtaker. He's now into 130R. Any improvement here for Overtaker? He's missed his braking point in the final chicane. Is that going to hurt him? Is it enough for him to improve, or he's going straight for another lap? He hasn't got really enough time to get into pits and go out. Well, he could do it, but he had to do it now towards the line. No improvement, so he will head straight back to the pits. He's got to be quick to get back out there, though. Nexus will finally put a lap time together. He's going to be slow in a straight line, he said, but he's going to be better in the corners and towards the line, and it helps him out. He goes P10. I believe then it's Peaceful Explosion next on a valid lap. He's heading towards the chicane, as he got the BMW with Smoky Devil just ahead of him. Overtaker, he'll want to be wanting to get out in the pits as soon as possible, but it is Peaceful to the line next. Smoky Devil returns back to pit lane. And towards the line, Peaceful comes. No improvement there. As Overtaker comes back on. Remember, guys, there is an extra point for pole position here, so every point counts in this championship. 75, that's Euro, exiting the final corner. Looking to improve on 11th place position. We can find 0.8. He will go up into 9th, and no improvement from him either. So all these guys just struggling a little bit. As now we have Paulo exiting the final chicane. Towards the start finish line he comes. Can he improve on P8? No improvement, so it's then, believe, it's Matovic then next to the line. Currently P3 at the minute. Best of the rest, and no improvement. Jay, I believe, lost all of his time in the final chicane, so this will be his last attempt here. The question is, will Gary131 get another lap? And he should do, as will the number 24 of Tibbs, but he is on a lap at the minute. Maybe Jay will, not Jay, sorry, I think that is number 11. That is number 11 of Mike. He might sneak in a lap here as well. So to the chicane comes Gary. He wants to make sure he gets a good exit to start off his lap. As Tibbs now goes through the chicane. As Tibbs here coming on leap and bounds here at Simplay, improving each time out. Just saw a video of him karting at an indoor go-kart track, and look, so much fun as he comes to the line and he goes 7th. He just goes ahead of Jay. It is now Peaceful Explosion towards the start finish line. He will get another lap in. Peaceful, no improvement there. He's just struggling to find those few tenths, but it's going to be Overtaker to cross the line next, and this will be his last attempt. Tech Leader coming into the final chicane. Whoever that is behind him, I'm not sure who it is, as Ripper is done. So it is now in the hands of Overtaker. Tech Leader might sneak in one more lap. Who is that? Nexus behind him. Tech Leader, no improvement. Nexus just sweeps in and gets one more lap here. So can Nexus use this one lap here? But more importantly, we look to the number 15. That is Jay. He comes up to 130R. Euro is done. Everyone's still on a valid lap time. So Jay into the final chicane. He comes through the curb into the final part of the chicane. Just the curve now. The final curve towards the start finish line. Past the Ferris wheel. And towards the start finish line he comes. Jay, P8, any improvement? Slight improvement, but doesn't improve his position. He will start P8. Gary 131, can he finally get ahead of his teammate on this last attempt? Porsche versus Bentley. Pride in the Jaeger team. And right now, Gary, is he going to miss his brakes? He does. Every time he seems to just miss his brakes ever so slightly in the start of that, but he has a fairly decent exit. But Gary 131, he bails. He knows he can't improve, and he is done. Peaceful. He needs to find a 10th and a half, and he'll go ahead of both Matt and Gary, the two Jaeger boys. Can he be the best of the rest? Can he finish it off on P3? He hugs the wall. Really doesn't do anything, and he hugs to the wall, goes as fast as he can towards the start finish line. Does he improve? No improvement. It is now just Tech Leader. Overtaker does not take the pole position. It goes the way of Ripper. Ripper gains another point, but it's now down to Tech Leader. Can he make the chicane? No, he goes deep, he goes wide. They're all struggling with the chicane by the list of things, just missing their braking, trying to be brave on the brakes. And Tech Leader, can he get Peaceful? It's a 10th to go ahead of him. A 10th and a half, sorry. And towards the line he comes. No improvement. So it is once again Ripper on pole position here at Suzuka. But it still will be the Audi versus the Bentley going into turn 1. It's really qualifying session there. No one seemed to be improving towards the end there, as track temperature got to 15 degrees, so a lot colder than what they've been practicing and testing in. As we now head into the 45-minute feature race. And we will get a poll out for you guys. Winner of race 2, sorry. Why am I thinking 3? Don't know. Either way, it will be a Ripper, Overtaker, and Matt Hojimovic. And Gary 131. So get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. It's going to be an interesting end to the night here, as it is Ripper versus Overtaker. Audi versus Bentley once again. Overtaker's really been trying to put the fight to Ripper this season, and it's been hanging in there, as already people are voting for Ripper. They think that he is going to be the man to beat.
20 seconds.
I've got 20 seconds until we go green here. And a few people voting for Matt as well, so So, sorry, Anna, I'm just switching accounts. There we go, all sorted now. Right, so a quick run through of the order. Get your votes in on who you think will win this first race. So it's Ripper on pole position with his rival right next to him in second place. Then it's Matt in third with his teammate alongside him as well. These two seem to be starting together all the time at the minute. So Matt and Gary starting alongside one another. Then it's Peaceful ahead of Tech Leader. Then there's Tibbs in P7. P8 is Jay. P9 is Paulo. P10 is Nexus. P11 will be Euro. P12 will be Smoky Devil. And Louis Allen bringing up the rear. We've lost Breeze for race 2. So we're only left with 13 cars. But nonetheless, it will be an interesting race, a 45-minute race. Track temperature, 13 degrees. Lucky number 13. Reminder, the poll will be out until halfway through this race. And we will see who will be king of Suzuka. As the guys try and get their temperatures sorted, get their pressures right. Can the two Bentleys of Matt and Overtaker stop Ripper? Or will Ripper just rip off into the distance? Gary 131 in the Porsche. Can he keep his good friend Peaceful Explosion behind him? Tech Leader in the Ferrari, looking to stick with the top guys. Tibbs holding off the Ferrari onslaught. But Paulo trying to continue what he did in race 1 and try and get his best finishing position. Nexus 10th. See how he gets on with with more downforce and less straight line speed. Smokey will try and find a way past on Euro, and Louis Allen looking to just get to the end of the race. As they all head towards Spoon. And you can see Ripper there really not wanting to push his car too much. And just holding his brakes, warming the temperatures up, as is Overtaker, Matt as well. If you haven't done so, then please, ladies and gentlemen, head over to the subscribe button. Hit that button. Go on, smash it and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button while you're at it as well. And then also, you see the little bell in the far right corner of your screen. Hit that as well so you get notified for every single time that we go live here at Simplay Motorsport. We will be heading to the PS5 very shortly, as PS4 has done us some massive favours, but obviously due to the camera issues and a few other server problems, we will be leaving PS4 eventually and heading to the PS5. So this gives you a chance now, if you are new to this channel, to subscribe to the channel and then head over to SimGrid to get yourself signed up, ready for the new year, as we will be heading into a brand new season with a brand new platform as we go on to PS5. Reminder that the PS5 League is still running and still going. It is on a Sunday night, heading to Donington Park. And then the Monday night, we will return back with GT4s, as they will be heading to the start of the end of the few races. We got Nürburgring, PROAM, and then finishing off with Pro on a Thursday night. But we are all lined up here. We're about to go racing here for the final time in Suzuka this week. It is Ripper on pole position. Overtaker will start second. Bentley versus Ferrari. Not Ferrari. Audi. Audi versus Bentley. And who will come out on top? Race initialized. And we go green in Suzuka as we get away. And Ripper, it looks like he's already got the jump on Overtaker as they head towards turn 1. Peaceful looking for an opportunity down the inside of the Jaeger boys. But Tech Leader to the outside. Mike hits the curb, which pushes the Ferrari wide. And just on the rear there, Jay taps the back of Tibbs, and everyone relatively clean through the first couple of corners. As there goes Euro, and there's contact between him and Paulo. But it's Ripper from Overtaker, from Matt, from Gary, from Peaceful, from Tech Leader, Tibbs, and Jay. Then it's Nexus, Smokey, and then it will be Paulo. as Nexus looks to the inside of Jay. Jay runs wide, and that is Nexus through. Now Smoky Devil going to look down the inside as well, and works his way past the Ferrari driver of Jay as well, as Overtaker struggling to get some pressure and tyre temperature up in his car, and Ripper is pulling away. He's already got a comfortable gap of near enough a second as they go up towards the hairpin. But Matt pressurising the back of the Bentley of Overtaker, thinking, oh, I could probably have a go at this. But right now, Peaceful taking a wider line through the hairpin just to be cautious of any cars going down the inside, as Tech Leader is still trying to find a way through. But Ripper heads up towards Spoon and is already extending his gap on Overtaker, as Matt sitting in P3. And they're all relatively clean through there. Bar Nexus is right on the rear wing of Tibbs now. Can he look to try and make a move on him? And he's sacrificed his straight line speed, as he said, to try and negotiate the corners a little better. But he's right on the rear wing of Tibbs as they go towards 130R. He's trying to brave it out. He had to touch the brakes a little bit, but thought better of it. As you can see up ahead, Peaceful's missed his brakes. He's gone straight on at the chicane. He's going to have to stay still and wait for the entire pack to go through, and they all have, by Euro, and Euro really struggling to get onto the back of the pack. But Peaceful Explosion missing his brakes and going wide. After one lap, Ripper has pulled a gap of 1.5 seconds over Overtaker, as the rest of the pack all just stringing out a little bit, as now Jay's putting Nexus under pressure. He's going to look to the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside of the snake, but thinks better of it. And Nexus goes a little bit deep, makes a mistake. Jay's going to look to the outside again. Paulo's in the middle of all this as well. He'll be wanting to get involved, as Nexus is all over the shot. The rear end is snapped on him, and Paulo runs wide, trying to avoid the struggling Jaguar. And Paulo comes off worse. Smoky Devil now goes through, and Peaceful Explosion, the only one not to get past, but it is still Ripper leading the way. Overtaker in second, Matt in third, and Gary completing the top four. Right now, the fight is between Jay, Nexus, and Louis Allen, as they head up towards the hairpin of the Honda driver of Louis Allen, looking to try and make a move on Nexus, as Euro is already to the pit, so he's probably got damage to his car as he hit the front end going into the wall. And is Ripper now able to just extend his legs now, really push the pace here. And I'm keeping an eye on the gap. Yes, another 0.3 has been separated between him and Overtaker, as now Tech Leader is actually starting to bring the gap down to Gary 131. Your closest fight was Louis Allen versus Nexus, as that gap has opened up a bit more. Can Gary hang on here, as Matt is just sticking with the top two at the minute? And Tech Leader now on the rear wing of Gary 131, possibly looking to the inside of turn one. Gary's a little bit loose on the rear end of that Porsche, and he manages to catches it and collect it together. Louis Allen's not got any closer to Nexus. In fact, I think he had a moment where he managed to catch it and hold it together. But Tech Leader is the man on the move now, 0.3 behind Gary 131. But can he find a way through? That is the question. And right now, Tech Leader looking for any opportunity for Gary to make a mistake. Gary runs a little bit wide in Degna 1, as Euro's got big damage, I think, to the front of that car, and is in the pits for a while, as Nexus is now starting to come under pressure from Louis Allen. Smoky Devil's under pressure from Paulo, who they're all under pressure from Peaceful Explosion. He's looking to try and make a move on Paulo, and can't find a way through in the hairpin, as Smokey's got onto the gravel, onto the grass. He's run wide. Paulo goes through, and Peaceful can't work his way through either. So Smokey hangs in there for now, as Gary wants a little bit wide in Spoon, but he keeps it together. And Tech Leader is able to run that curb, but Gary's just hanging in there. We go back to this Peaceful and Smoky Devil fight. Peaceful's to the inside of Spoon, and he gets the job done. Now Paulo is his next target. Paulo, though, struggling in Spoon, trying to keep it going, and he manages to get through, and Peaceful gets 2 for the price of 1 in 1 set of corners. Smoky probably struggling with pressures once again, and I think Paulo is in a similar position as well, all struggling, as Gary 131 holds on to P4 as Tech Leader looked to the outside, I think. Maybe Gary had a moment through 130R, but as they keep doing this, Tibbs is now getting closer and closer. Louis Allen is now back onto the rear of Nexus. As they now head towards turn 1. And Nexus defends the inside. Runs a little bit wide, but he manages to hang on to that position. Meanwhile, Gary is under some immense pressure from the guys behind. Tibbs isn't just obviously coming to those two, but he's dragging Jay with him. And Jay's had a great run through the S's there. And at the minute can't seem to find the way past on the Honda driver. It takes a little bit too much curve and loses grip on the rear. And Louis Allen once again sneaking onto the back of Nexus, but he's run a little bit wide. And Peaceful not close enough to capitalise on that one. But Ripper still leads 2.1 ahead of Overtaker, who's then 2.5 over Matt. And then it's back to 7.5 with this scrap. Gary versus Tech Leader. Tibbs is in this fight as well with Jay. Jay running the curb quite a bit there. As Nexus looks a little bit slow at the hairpin. But we go back to this scrap. Ferrari versus Porsche. As Tech Leader looks like he's got a little bit more grip than Gary at the minute as they now head towards 130R. The Porsche, famously known for being quite slow in a straight line. And you can see there the Ferrari of Tech Leader gaining. He's looking to the inside of 130R, thinks better of it. Gary runs wide. And so far, Tech Leader seems that's the only place he seems to be close enough to make a real threat to Gary. But he's had a decent exit here as Tibbs has dropped behind Nexus, so he's had a moment possibly somewhere. But we go back to this scrap. Tech Leader, look at the straight line advantage there from the Ferrari as Gary looks to hold the inside, but Tech Leader much later on the break sends it into turn 1. Nothing Gary can do. And Gary loses the position, and Tech Leader now goes through. Can he catch Matt? Or is that probably as far as he is going to get? And now can Jay work his way onto the back of Gary 131? Jay and Tech Leader, very good friends, probably in the same party, and both of them driving the Ferrari a little bit differently. As Tech Leader is a lot smoother with the car, while Jay's a little bit more aggressive with his. But Gary now runs a little bit wide onto the grass. He goes. And that's going to invite Jay, but I think Jay's had a moment himself. So, yeah, Jay's not able to capitalise. Meanwhile, Tibbs is still trying to get to terms with Nexus, and I don't think Euro is coming back out. Whatever damage he's got is not going to be able to get him back into this race. As Peaceful's ended up behind Euro again. And Peaceful looking like he's struggling with the rear end of that Honda. And Gary now losing touch to Tech Leader. It's all spreading out a little bit. Matt's lost a bit of time to Overtaker as well. It was only 2 seconds, or 2.5 seconds. It's now 4.5 seconds. So he's lost a lot of time this lap. But Ripper right now comfortably in front. 3.2 is the gap between him and Overtaker. And Overtaker into the chicane. Pretty much straight lines the chicane there. And possibly frustration kicking in, seeing that his championship rival is leading this race and pulling away at this stage. 3.2 was the gap. He's gained 2 tenths just by straight lining the chicane a little bit. But right now it's all pretty flat except for that. That's Tibbs possibly missing his brakes, straight lining the chicane even more. And he goes ahead of Nexus, but Tibbs surely has to give the place back up. Or has Nexus got that much damage? He was a little bit squirrely on the chicane. I'm not quite sure, as Peaceful still not able to catch Paulo at the minute. Smokey on the rear, and Louis Allen last at the moment. So here's Nexus just struggling at this stage. He's got major damage to the rear of his car as we go on board with Paulo, and you can see he's obviously compromised his setup to have a bit more wing, so he's better in the corners, but I think it's compromised his overall driving, and he's struggling here. He's got major damage. The lights are flickering, so he's hit the wall or something. I think it was possibly in 130R as they head towards the Degners. As Peaceful gets right on the rear of him, and Nexus onto the grass again. He manages to keep it on track. Meanwhile, Jay has brought that gap down to Gary 131. But this is the fight we're watching. And Nexus struggling with traction there. The McLaren driver, Apollo, looking to the outside. He lifts there, which was an interesting choice, as now Peaceful goes, thank you very much, I'll go back past you. And Nexus now trying to defend the inside up towards Spoon, but Peaceful's got him into Spoon. That's 3 cars he's overtaken in Spoon now. It is an overtaking opportunity if you've got a significant advantage, and he had done there, and through he goes. Now Paulo catching the Jaguar like it's nothing, and goes straight past him. Nexus here clearly suffering with damage and waiting for the pit window to open, which is in a few seconds time, as they will be heading into the chicane. Smokey's not a million miles away either, so pit window is open, and Nexus gets in to the pits. Smokey's in as well, so both of these two gaining the advantage there, being at the back, and they get straight into the pits. Meanwhile, Gary is behind Jay now. I believe he's lost that position to Jay. Jay's got very wide, and around he goes, or he doesn't quite go all the way around, but he now loses all that hard work that he did to get past Gary, and goes back behind him again. Luckily, Tibbs nowhere in sight to really pressurize them. Meanwhile, the gap to the leaders have come down. It was 3.2. It is now 2.3, as Overtaker is starting to reel Ripper in. Matt on his lows himself at the minute, but Tech Leader is in P4. Gary currently P5. Jay P6. Tibbs P7. P8 goes away at Peaceful. P9 is Paulo. P10 is Smokey. P11 Nexus. 12th is Louis Allen, and in 13th is Euro. I don't think we'll see Euro for the rest of this race. As Overtaker goes up towards 130R, into the chicane he comes. And 2.1 now is the gap. Overtaker thought about going into the pits there. Obviously opting to change his mind. Smoky Devil is already back out on track. Louis Allen comes out on track now. Where is Ripper? There he is. So he is going to have back markers here. Louis Allen goes very wide and just gets right out of the way. Will he allow Overtaker through as well? Yes, he will. So Overtaker doesn't have to worry about him either. As Gary comes into the pits, Jay stays out. Tibbs stays out. Peaceful stays out, as does Paulo. But Nexus has finally gone green after major damage to the rear of his car, but he's not going anywhere. There he gets dropped. Is he going anywhere? Doesn't look like it at the minute. But Paulo still... This is your closest fight at this stage. Peaceful versus Paulo. And I think as well, Peaceful has been slowly creeping onto the back of Tibbs as well, as they're going to come through the first split. Yeah, Peaceful has brought that gap down to Tibbs ever so slightly. And Paulo then must have had a moment, because he's lost time to Peaceful there, and he's had a little moment again. So Gary's now gone green. Nexus is not moving anywhere. Not sure what's happened to Nexus there, but he's not going. But once again, your top two comes through. Bouncing over the curb comes Overtaker. Ripper staying out. Overtaker staying out. So right now he can see Ripper. He's just there. He's just ahead of him. But he can't quite get close enough. 2.4 at the minute. Matt is in the final corner. And right now, he's got quite a healthy gap to Tech Leader. And there is Tech Leader. There's no real fights going on. I was expecting this to be a good little scrap, but so far, nothing's really arose. As Tibbs now opts to pit. Just clips the wall ever so slightly there. So Peaceful will go through, and so will Paulo. Gary did stay ahead of Smokey and Louis Allen. Nexus is not moving. Euro, I think, has retired. So, this gives me a great opportunity to say in the chat, if you haven't done so, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simplay Motorsport. Also, on Sunday night, the PS5 League will be returning as they head to Donington Park for another evening race. An evening race coming your way for the PS5 League. And a reminder as well, we will be heading to the PS5 League after this PS4 season. What percentage of the race do I have to complete? Because it's not worth the run of the race anymore. It's got to be at least half the race, I believe, Nexus. So majority of the race you have to be running. But yeah. Tibbs is in. He's gone green. Where's Gary? He's gone across the start-finish line, and Tibbs was falling behind him, and he'll stay ahead of Smoky Devil. Reminder as well, Monday night will be the GT4 as they head to Nürburgring for the next round of the season. Then it'll be the AMs in closed doors with PROAM on Wednesday, and these boys will be back live once again at the Nürburgring for the first and last and only night race. I lost it on the exit at 130R, by the way. Touched the grass a little, and it was enough to total the Jag. That's such a shame there for Nexus, as he seemed to be struggling in this car here, but hopefully he'll be better at it in Nürburgring. And a reminder as well, in the description below, there is our two fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Head over to their YouTube channels, their websites, their Facebook pages, their Instagram, and also give them a follow. And if you want any fantastic gifts from them for Christmas, then have a look at what they produce. So Smoky Devil now has been passed by Ripper, and Smoky's not the easiest person to get past regarding blue flags. So this should be interesting for Overtaker. He's now coming up to the back of him and flashing him like crazy. He'd say, "Come on, lad, get out of the way. You're causing me dirty air, and the Bentley hates dirty air." Tibbs is just up the road from these guys, so Smokey does finally get out of the way, and through goes Overtaker. And just ahead of him is Ripper. Right on the limit of 130R. I'm up to the chicane, he comes Overtaker. Seems to gain a little bit on the chicane, does Overtaker, but Ripper pulling away. Once again, 2.5 is the gap. And 2.3 is the split by the time they cross the line. Smoky Devil isn't a million miles away from Overtaker. So he will be just wanting to use Overtaker to try and catch any cars that decide to pit. It is exactly 12 minutes still till the pit window closes. Some of these guys are wanting to try and get to the halfway stage to try and extend those tyre lives. As now Jay's into the pits. As Tech Leader is trying to do something about Matt, but he can't quite catch him at the minute. Matt has got a lap traffic of Louis Allen first to deal with. But right now, Matt's just keeping it facing the right way, not making any mistakes. As the gap now between Overtaker and Ripper is still 2.4. Overtaker really needs to start outscoring Ripper now, as we've only got Nürburgring and Misano, the last two chances. And Misano, I think, might be an Audi circuit. Nürburgring, I think, will go the way of the Bentley, but we'll see how it all pans out. As Jay still not gone green. Now he has. Gary's in the final chicane. And I think Jay will just keep hold of that position. Yeah, he will easily. He's off the limiter. And Gary is nowhere to be seen. So does anyone else opt to pit Ripper into the final chicane? Carries on through. As does Overtaker as well. Not really much going on at the minute here. As Matt also carries on through, and Louis Allen goes very wide. But Tech Leader now comes into the pits as he gets to the halfway stage of this race. Tech Leader now into the pits for the Ferrari. What does Peaceful do as well, as he's now into the final chicane? And he now opts to pit as well. A lot of these guys like to get to the halfway stage of this race so they can have a nice set of fresh tyres towards the end, and Paulo decides to carry on through. As it's still a Ripper, Overtaker and Matt, your top three. And it's still those three and also Paulo yet to complete their pit stops. And Ripper just trying to extend his gap on Overtaker, but Overtaker just seems to be matching him lap for lap at the minute. Phil in the chat, are you home tonight commentating? And well done on your victory and the championship last night, Dan. Thank you, Phil. Much appreciated. And yeah, I am home. This is how I'm streaming it. But we'll end the poll there. And it's gone the way of Ripper. Overtaker and Gary equal on 25%, and Matt, only one person believing in Matt there, but that is the end of the poll. Peaceful hasn't gone green yet, but Gary goes through. Jay's gone through as well. Tech Leader's long gone into the distance, but Gary goes through. Tibbs goes past Peaceful, and Peaceful stays ahead of Smoky Devil. Ripper now pits. Overtaker stays out. So what is the strategy here? Ripper into the pit lane. He comes. Can Paulo jump a few cars here? Matt gets it stopped and drops right down. He lost a lot of speed in entry there, making sure he came to a stop. But the gaps again still haven't come down. If anything, it's only Tech Leader versus Jay that's the closest fight. Peaceful and Tibbs is quite close as well, but that's been brewing for a while. Smoky Devil not near those guys either, so we'll see how all this all pans out, as Overtaker has opted to go very long into his stint. Excuse me. Will this help him out? As now Paulo comes into the pit. Ripper finally stops, and away he goes. And off the limiter he goes. Will he hang on to this lead? Tech Leader not even at 130R, and Ripper is already into turn one. So that's how much of a gap he has on the rest of the pack. Now, Tech Leader is coming into the chicane, as Matt has gone green, so Matt should hang on to that position quite comfortably, and he does, as Tech Leader's only now exiting the final corner, and Matt is already into turn 1. Peaceful is catching Tibbs. The question is, where will Paulo feed in all this? Jay goes through, Gary is about to go through, Tibbs is in the final corner, Peaceful is in the final corner, and I think Paulo should slot in between Peaceful and Smoky Devil. He's still not gone green yet, and now he has. And away he goes. Nexus is fiddling with his car because I can see it bouncing about. But Peaceful and Tibbs, the only real fight on track at the minute is Overtaker finally pits. So, Peaceful is still trying to scrap with Tibbs. And Overtaker now, would going longer helped him. I think it was roughly 2.4 was the gap when he came into the pits when Ripper pitted. But has this worked? Has the overcut worked? So Ripper is now coming towards 130R. It's all about getting those pressures and temperatures up. Well, Overtaker did have those couple extra laps to get those tyres and pressures where they were already. Ripper exits the final corner, and Overtaker still not been dropped. He's been dropped now. As Ripper comes down the straight, Overtaker is just going to come off the limiter now. But Ripper comes back out in front. But if anything, Overtaker may have made a little bit of time. He's really going to push these first couple of laps. He's probably gained a tenth or two, but not a lot. He's got cold tyres now, as Tibbs has had a moment on the exit of Spoon. That's going to allow Peaceful through, and through into 7th place goes Peaceful Explosion if he can negotiate the tricky 130R. Rear end's gone. He's gone round, and Tibbs gets back in front of him. Paulo is now coming up to 130R as Peaceful Explosion does get going again. And there is Paulo, and he looks to the inside of Peaceful there, but he's a bit off a little way. As the gap was 2.4, it is now 1.6 between Overtaker and Ripper. So they're getting close again. This is Overtaker's real last opportunity. He's got now some fresh tyres. They will be fresher than Ripper's towards the end, but I don't really think that matters too much. So we'll just keep an eye on these two at the minute, and we'll keep an eye on any yellow flags or anything like that. But again, the pack is all stretched out. The feature race does this sometime. It's down to strategy more than anything at this stage. But can Overtaker do anything about Ripper? They head up towards the second split, and it's still 1.6, matching each other in the... Oh! Ripper's had a big moment! Ripper's in the wall! Ripper has touched the curb, and he has damaged the front end of his car. Can he live with the damage? Matt could gain a possible second place here. How much damage does Ripper have? Ripper doesn't make mistakes, and he has just made a massive one at 130R. How badly damaged is that car? As Overtaker takes the lead of this race, and Ripper cracks under the pressure. He's struggling with turning. He's gone wide into turn 1. Ripper, this has now got exciting. Ripper is now walking wounded. Can he hang on for 15 minutes with this damage? That is the question. Matt is only now into turn 1. Tech Leader is now exiting the final corner, so it depends how much damage Ripper has and if he can hang with it. That is the question, but major damage to the front end of that car, and Overtaker has been handed another win here if he now keeps away from the curbs. But he seems quite comfortable running the curbs. You've got a little flicker from the light there of Ripper. I think if anything, he's going to be struggling with understeer than anything else. What is pretty cool is the exhaust on the rear end of that Audi lightening right up because of the heat from the back of the car. But he has had damage to the front end of that car. Can he live with it? I think the corners like turn 1 and Spoon is where he's going to struggle and get a bit of oversteer. Maybe also 130R as well. But Overtaker has been handed a lifeline here and he has to use it. It looks like Ripper is just assessing the damage, figuring out can he run this, and I think he can and keep the pace as Matt is now coming to Spoon as Ripper is in the back end of the circuit. As Peaceful and Paulo still close to one another. I think Peaceful's actually gained quite a bit on that one. But Ripper through 130 sounded a little bit more cautious through there, probably pushing a little bit too hard. Question is, does Ripper come in to repair the damage? No, he stays out. He's going to live with it. Yes, he's going to lose points to Overtaker, but at the end of the day, he will still be cutting the gap very, very slim. He did take a pole position away from Overtaker, so that's 1 point. But we'll keep an eye on the gap between Matt and Ripper. So Ripper, to the start of this lap, Matt is 15 seconds behind. So we'll check when they cross the line next time how close that gap is. Really, there's nothing else going on track, as Nexus has come back out on track, although he's 9 laps down. 6.3 when they cross the line, as Overtaker goes into the Degners, and he loses 6/10 just in there. Into the Degners he goes. Matt now coming up towards that split. 15 seconds was the gap. And it's 14.4. Oh, is it going to be enough towards the end? Matt has got to be squeaky clean all the way through to the end. And Ripper has really got to hope that that damage isn't going to affect him too much towards the end of this race. But that is really going to be the only fight left to happen here. Unless Tech Leader makes a mistake. Jay's in an opportunity there. Once again, Ripper giving us the excitement. They go across the splits. I believe it was 6.9 when they crossed there. Through the split they go, 7.2. Another 3/10 lost to Overtaker just because of the front end damage. And he's sounding very cautious through 130R now. Matt coming up to the second split. 14.8. Didn't gain massively there on Ripper. Ripper seems okay in the middle sector. 15 seconds exactly was the gap between Matt and Ripper. I think Ripper's now starting to assess and figure out where he can or can't push with this car, with the damage he's carrying. And it was, like I said, 15 seconds when they did the last lap. And he's only lost 2/10 here to Matt. So he's doing enough to stay ahead of Matt, but he does have to be squeaky clean to the end now. Any other mistakes and into the wall he goes, I think will definitely ruin his chance to score some decent points over Overtaker. As I'm just going to do some quick maths to figure out what would happen in the championship standings between Ripper and Overtaker if they finish where they are. So Ripper in P2 and Overtaker winning that one, so he'll gain the full points. So he gains 4 points on him, which will bring the gap down to 30, because obviously Ripper taking pole position as well. So what Overtaker could be really doing with right now is Matt really starting to creep onto the back of him. If Ripper were to finish in third, the gap would then be 26 points going to Nürburgring and Mazzano. So this is what Overtaker needs to be doing. He needs to start putting Ripper under pressure. As Overtaker, you can hear him through 130R being much, much cautious. and really taking his time here. He does not want to end up in the wall again. Oh, this is going to be interesting towards the end of this race right now. Towards the line he comes. 9.9, neck end of 10 seconds. He's lost to Overtaker. Matt, meanwhile, 14.8 was the gap last time. He's now kicked it up again. That was 1.6 seconds he's found in that one lap. So I think if Matt needs to find more time than that, he needs to find a heck of a lot more time if he is going to get Ripper towards the end. But you can hear, though, Ripper is really being cautious with the car. And through the Degners, yeah, he's just a little bit unstable in places. But once again, the man is human. He does make mistakes. This all benefits Overtaker in the end. It was 13.2, I believe. Yeah, 13.2. And Matt has found a couple more tenths. He's found 8 tenths just in Sector 1. So the snake section is where Ripper seems to be losing a lot of time. But is it going to be enough? Is he just going to hang on with this damage? As Peaceful, once again, is starting to creep back onto Tibbs. That gap's only 2.4, but Jay has just literally been sitting behind Tech Leader for most of this race. As we come down to the last 8 minutes of this race. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified. These guys had a fantastic race 1, but sadly race 2 has been a little bit of a flop. But Overtaker is leading again, which he needs to be doing, and outscoring Ripper as much as he possibly can. But right now, he needs Matt to catch him and pass him to gain as much, to do as much damage as possible, really. We see Jay goes very wide there. He slows down so he does not get a penalty. 11.4. The gap is coming down slowly and surely. And Jay looking to try and catch his good friend as Tibbs has lost a lot of time to Peaceful. Peaceful's right behind him now. We'll get driver out the day in a few moments time, but here comes Peaceful down the main straight. They go. Don't get the flashing, I really don't. It's just really off-putting, if anything. And Peaceful goes to the outside. Tibbs holds on to the inside. He keeps it strong. Tibbs, very fair and respectful driver. And Mike has to come up with a different plan as they head up towards the snake. And once again, Tibbs just puts his car in all the right places. Makes sure he meets the apexes. And through he goes. Ripper very cautious through Spoon. And Matt can see him. He can get closer. He can sniff that second place. Jay no closer to his good friend Tech Leader. We go back to this scrap. The pride of the #1 Honda at their home circuit has not gone well for Honda here in Suzuka. As Peaceful looks to try and gain some time on Tibbs. Tibbs a little bit squirrely on exit. Matt only matching Ripper in that middle sector that time. Mike touching the curb, made it very unstable going up towards the braking zone of the hairpin. He's had a good run through there. Nexus is back into the pits. As you hear the Audi of Ripper heading towards the straight as Matt is now in the final corner. It was 10 seconds the gap last time. And it's now 11, so Matt's lost time to Ripper that lap. Peaceful, great exit through Spoon. He's going to use the slipstream for as long as he dares. Tibbs goes to the inside. Peaceful's going to go the outside of 130R. If he gets the job done there, that would be some move, but he will not do it. I don't think, no. He He backs out of that one. Tibbs hangs in there and will hold on to that P7 position at the minute. But Peaceful has been slowly creeping onto the back of Tibbs, and he's finally got there and he can't do anything with it. So there's your driver of the day. Get your votes in on who you think was your driver of the day. For me, those were the 4 that stood out for me this evening, so get your votes in on that one. And if you think it was someone else, then please put your vote in on the chat, as Peaceful's ran a little bit wide and touched the curb, touched the grass, and it's really unsettled him there. Matt, though, 10.2 behind Ripper, but it's still not enough. Track temperatures dropped to 11 degrees. It was 13 at the start of this race. It has got colder and colder. And the one that's feeling ice cool at the minute is this man, Overtaker. He's kept his nerve, he's kept it cool, calm and collected, and at the minute he's on his way for another win at Suzuka if he keeps it facing the right way. Ripper, meanwhile, is doing everything he can to hold on to second place. I don't think Matt's going to catch him in time unless Ripper has another moment, but Matt is not going to get him. Jay's nowhere near tech leader at this minute, but Mike is the only one who's really on a move. Peaceful Explosion looking to attack Tibbs at this stage. So guys who are currently watching at the minute, get your votes in on who you think your driver of the day was. And like I said, if you don't think and agree with me on those 4, then please put your vote in the chat. And Mike looking to try and get a good exit out of Spoon. He's run a little bit wide. Tibbs this time managing to hang in there. Is this probably a good option here for Mike? He might get a better run through 130R and try and attack him into the final chicane. That tends to be where most of the moves happen in Formula 1. But Mike's been quite tentative through 130R and he's not able to gain anything on Tibbs there. And Tibbs hangs in there as they head through the chicane. 17.1 now to Overtaker to Ripper. Overtaker pretty much got this in the bag. He just needs to keep it facing the right way. Tibbs has a snap! That's given Peaceful a sniff of an opportunity down the inside. And we are now into single digits between Matt and Ripper. It is 8.9 as Peaceful goes down the inside of Tibbs. Tibbs breaks earlier, gives him the space, but once again, Mike just touching the curb. He runs wide, he loses the rear of the car, and Tibbs comes back underneath. He has the wheel spin as well. And he has to, this time Mike hangs in there, but every time he seems to get past Tibbs, he has a little moment by himself. Jay, meanwhile, has brought his gap down to tech leader. It's now 1.9, so that's close between those two. But Ripper heading towards the second split, and Matt is now exiting Spoon, but I think it's too little too late as Overtaker will start his final lap. Yeah, it's too late for Matt here now, so Overtaker should finish first and Ripper should finish in second, Matt in third. Always the bridesmaid at the minute here at Simplay Motorsport. Not had a win yet, I don't think, this season. But this fight still carries on as Jay still trying to catch his good mate tech leader at the minute. But Tibbs losing out to Peaceful Explosion here. Guys, come on, get your votes in on who you think your driver of the day was. Jay currently has 2 votes at the minute. None for Overtaker, none for Paulo, and none for Matt at the minute. But again, there, who I think should have got driver of the day. Tibbs has a squirrely moment and is not able to do anything about Peaceful. Peaceful goes right to the inside to try and avoid giving him the tow. But Mike seems to have better straight line speed than Tibbs at the minute as they head up towards 130R. Tibbs seems to be a lot more stable through here as Mike has another moment through 130R. Tibbs is able to run the curb, but scared to abuse the curbs there, and Mike will just hang on to that position. Meanwhile, Overtaker coming up towards Spoon, and yeah, Matt's not going to catch Overtaker, even though Overtaker has now lapped another car. Who is it? It is Louis Allen, as Nexus has come back out. We lost Euro, he left. As we are now getting some votes in. But we look to Overtaker, he's made it 2 for 2. He goes in through 130R He's trying to slow it down. I'm not sure why, hoping that maybe Matt will catch it. But Overtaker is coming into the final chicane. The Ferris wheel lit up as the number 14, the Bentley driver of Overtaker, will make it 2 for 2 here at Suzuka. He wins both races and he brings the gap down to Ripper. He wins race 2 here at Suzuka as Ripper comes into the chicane, really struggling towards the end there, probably with the damage towards the final corner, and towards the end he comes. The light's still flickering on his car, but he survives, he hangs in there, and he will take P2. Damage limitations there. Matt is going to come in for P3, not enough in the end. Ripper hangs in there. In the end, it was 6.1 towards the end. It is going to be Tech Leader who will finish best of the rest in P4, ahead of his good friend Jay, as Louis Allen has finished as well in P11. So Tech Leader is going to come home for P4. Jay will finish in P5. P6, a quiet P6, will go the way of Gary 131. There's still a fight going on between the two Hondas at the minute, between Peaceful and Tibbs, so they're going to scrap it out right to the end. But Gary's going to come home in 6th place for the Porsche. Been pretty quiet on his own, but he will finish in P6. Solid points for him and Jaeger. But it is going to be Peaceful who just hangs on in there in P7 as Tibbs comes towards the line now, and he will finish in P8. Paulo is going to finish in P9. He's had a solid night's worth of racing as well. He will come home to finish ahead of Smoky Devil. The Nexus will cross the line and finish the race. As now Smoky Devil will be the last one to finish as he now goes through the chicane. And I believe Matt has already updated the tables for me. I will give it a little refresh. And I think Overtaker was really hoping that Matt could have caught Ripper towards the end there, but it wasn't meant to be. And in the end, Overtaker the most successful around Suzuka now, as I just do one more refresh just to make sure. And here is the unofficial results of tonight's round. Ripper still leads the way. He's got 30 points now to Overtaker. The gap has come down with 2 rounds left to go. 112 points yet to play with. 142 points still to play with. And Ripper is still hanging in there as we head to possibly a wet Nürburgring and at night as well. Peaceful Explosion still, he's moved up to P. He's still hanging in there in P3 as Matt brings that gap down. I had a blank moment then. Gary 131 has dropped further behind his teammate, but with Matt not turning up Nürburgring, that might all change all over again as Tech Leader is in P6. P7 is Jay. P8 is Nexus and P9 is Tibbs. Fury dropping down the order very quickly now. He's P10 with Euro P11. If Euro had carried on racing, he would have gained more points on Fury in that one. Smoky Devil is in P12. Paulo is in P13. Louis Allen 14. N Plava 15 and Green Wolfinator in 16th. Regarding the constructors, Teletubby Motorsport still leading 150 points ahead of Jaeger Motorsport with Killer Performance Motorsport in P3. Flying Potato still hanging in there for the constructors, but I feel like that's going to end in Nürburgring. Simplay Racing have now been knocked out. They're P5. Titan Euro Racing in P6. Hot Wheels Racing P7 and JW Esports Racing P8. Bentley is still champions from Audi, from Ferrari, Honda, McLaren, Porsche, Aston, Lexus, Jaguar, BMW, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Nissan and Retia. So we have the 2 Bentley drivers in the commentary box with me right now, and we will start with your 3rd place man, and that would be the way of Matt Ahimovic. Not just once, but twice we are hearing you tonight, Matt. And before the start of the night, you were sounding a bit doom and gloom before we got into racing, and now you've walked away with 2 podiums. So
walked away with 2 race wins. I've come in and nicked them somehow.
If this was GT 3.5, then yes, you would have had 2 race wins. But
it feels like 2 race wins. Let me tell you honestly, that's stellar, absolutely stellar.
Well, obviously, like you said earlier on in the first race, it was all about just staying on track, being clean and consistent, and pretty much the same here. Obviously, the two managed to get the jump, and you managed to just hang in for P3, and pretty much a lonely race from then onwards, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know I did tell the PC guys to cover off the start, make sure I stayed P3, then just go about my business, really. I know I had the pace to keep carrying that behind them, like we're all fighting, so it meant I could gap them quite big. Tried to stick as much with overtake as I could at the start. And them guys far superior today. Fair play to Overtake and Ripper. They was the better drivers today, so P3, take it. Really will take it. But don't like his track, like you said, race 1, and like you said just a minute ago, I detest his circuit. I don't go well at his circuit. Don't know why. Just cannot go well.
Yeah,
I felt good. 2 P3s, fantastic.
Well, obviously, you go away for the weekend. It is Tech Leader and Jay who are going to be the ones trying to hunt you down so you can hang into that top 5 position. Obviously, then it will be Mazzano as well. But it's really just hanging in there to the end now, isn't it, to be honest?
Yeah.
With not racing at Nürburgring and Mazzano, probably a circuit that the Bentley won't be very strong at. But,
it's going to be one of them. We see, look, I'm 21 points clear of Tech Leader. I'm 40 points clear of Jay. There's 71 up for grabs on a race week. So, we'll see where we come back. I'm looking at possibly, depending on how good a week Nexus has, possibly P7, P8. And then we bounce back for hard work at Misano and try and climb back into that top 5. I knew that going into this season. So, yeah.
Well, nonetheless, Matt, it's been, I was going to say, Pants and Mazzano, but we'll speak about that later on. But nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the P3 tonight. And I'll tell you what, I will give you driver of the day just because the fact that you hate this circuit and you actually managed to walk away with 2 podiums. So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you very much. And well done, Ripper and Overtaker tonight. Just absolute mega pace.
Speaking of Overtaker, we speak to him now. 2 wins at Suzuka. That's exactly what you needed to get yourself back into the championship fight. And I'm probably sitting there thinking the same as you're thinking and wish that Matt would have just caught Ripper at the end there. But nonetheless, with 2 race wins, you've got to be very happy with that.
Yeah, man, thanks. It's the same like I entered the Simplay Motorsport Sim Zone league with 2 wins at Suzuka, if you remember, on Project Cars Day.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really know my pace, and I like the circuit, yeah. I think it's amazing. The car isn't the fastest around here, but I drove a perfect race tonight.
Well, you kept your promise before anything else. You did manage to do a 59, so I will give you props for that. But I think it seemed like the first half of that race, Ripper seemed to just walk away a little bit, but then it seemed like the pace was coming back to you, and then obviously the pit stops happened, and you went through 130R, and then you see the Audi sliding and spinning. You finally put him under some pressure. You finally cracked that wall, and he made a mistake. Is that what you've really got to do between now and the end of the season? You've got Nürburgring next, and you've got Mazzano. Can you keep putting him under pressure and making these mistakes finally appear?
Yeah, that depends. For this round, my strategy was because I had massive tire wear on this track, because I'm on a pad that's exaggerated even more. So I knew I didn't really push in the first stint, and Ripper didn't push as well, because we've talked and we knew that if you push too early, you're going to be slow later in the stint. So my plan was to try to stick close to him and then push after the pit stops. When I saw him coming, the pit stops, I put my foot down and I really pushed out lap and in lap. I managed to close the gap by 1 second, and he made a mistake, so that was it.
Obviously, you have mentioned in the past that you couldn't understand how Ripper gets such fast pit stops. Tonight, it seemed like you were the one with the quick pit stops. You were quicker than him both races, and in this case, it's really helped you out. Have you done anything different in the pit stops to help you gain, or is it a top secret thing?
No, really, I didn't have the fastest pit stops, so I believe that he had a slow pit stop both times these races, because in both cases, race 1 and race 2, I didn't see my box properly and I was pretty slow in. So I guess he had even slower pit stops than me, because I was a bit shocked that I was so close to him. But I knew that overcut is going to be strong here.
Yep.
So maybe that's why I was gaining 1 second.
Yeah, definitely so. Next round is Nürburgring, and it's a night race as well, so it's going to be pretty cold as well. What do you expect for Nürburgring?
Yeah, that's another track that I like, especially the 24 hours version, but it's a shame we don't race there. But it's gonna depend on the weather. I don't know what it's gonna be for training. Then congrats to Reaper on the championship. If it's dry, then I'm gonna give him a fight for sure.
Anything can still happen, even if it's wet. But nonetheless, Overtaker, congratulations on the 2 race wins tonight. You brought the gap down to 30 points. It is still a race on towards the end. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, and congrats to Reaper as well. Too. I thought he was gonna plumb me down the order with the crash he had, but he managed to get it home with P2. So nice job.
And that is it for Suzuka. We have now ended that part of the season. We now head towards the Nürburgring for our one and only night race. Can Ripper hang on to this championship, or is Overtaker going to push him right to the limit? That is the question. Make sure you tune in as well on Sunday night, as we will be live for the PS5 version as well. Fury leading the championship. Can he keep hold of that lead as we head to Donington Park for an evening race there? And then we fly to Germany for a week's worth of racing. We start off with the GT4s on a Monday night. Then we have the AMs behind closed doors, and then Pro-Am and Pro all hit the track on the Tuesday and Wednesday night. Just as well, driver of the day from the fans has gone the way of Jay. So congratulations to Jay. He wins driver of the day overall. That has been Simplay Racing. That has been the Pro. It's been a fantastic night's worth of racing. Overtaker with 2 race wins to his name. He is the most successful at Suzuka/Shikito and keeps the crown at that track. What is going to happen in Germany as we head to the famous Nürburgring? It is all still to play for here in the Pro category. I've been Dan Davis. This has been Simplay Racing, and we shall see you in a few days' time at Donington for the PS5. Good night. And we should be clear.